The views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Like It Is. And on tonight's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a special guest. But of course, we always start with our first segment, which is a segment on SLP. But before I delve into that segment, let me say a special welcome to each and every one of you. Those of you viewing on Hot 7 TV, those listening on Kiss FM, those of you watching and listening via live stream on Facebook, those using the Caribbean Hot 7 app. And of course, we are now on YouTube as well, and the account is Caribbean Hot 7 TV. So welcome to one and all. I want to welcome those of you in the diaspora who religiously tune in and follow what's going on here on Like It Is. As you know, on this program, we don't sugarcoat, we don't water down, we tell you like it is. Of course, I will after bringing on my guests at some point, we will open the lines so that you too can call in and tell it like it is. But as always, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, we start with the special segment, segment one, which is the segment on secrets, lies, and propaganda, SLP, the modus operandi of the St. Lucia Labour Party and how they operate and what passes rather for government here in St. Lucia. As I've always quoted, I will quote to you that famous quote from Albert Einstein once again: "Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters." That is a quote that applies to our government here in St. Lucia. Unfortunately, we cannot trust them with small matters, never mind important matters. And so, tonight, before I delve into the actual secrets and lies that are being concealed and perpetrated on you, the public of St. Lucia, it is very evident to me that the qualifying trait to be with the St. Lucia Labour Party is dishonesty. It is well established now that the Prime Minister, Ernest Hille, El Quapo, Emma Hippolyte, Kenson Casimir, Sean Edward, and the rest have all become notorious for lying. But it appears that to join the pack, ladies and gentlemen, it is a prerequisite that you be dishonest. And I say so because we see their latest addition, Mr. John Paul Estefan, who they have recently presented as their candidate for the Babonneau constituency to contest the seat against Titus Preville, who is the United Workers' Party's endorsed candidate for the constituency. We see how he is fitting in quite nicely and comfortably. He has started his political career with concealing some secrets and divulging some lies. And that we will delve into right now, ladies and gentlemen. And so, let me first say that I know the gentleman to a certain extent, Mr. John Paul Estefan, and I know him as a member of the United Workers' Party from since about 2018. Okay? This gentleman, submitted an application to the United Workers' Party to become a candidate. In other words, he expressed his interest in vying to become a candidate for the United Workers' Party in the very same constituency of Babonneau. Did Mr. Estefan divulge that information to the Labour supporters and the rest of St. Lucia? That means the information that he is trying to appeal to the people now as a Labour Party candidate, but that in fact, not so long ago, he attempted to become a United Workers' Party candidate. Did he reveal that information to them? So, we heard some revelations from Mr. Estefan. And ladies and gentlemen, clearly, the gentleman is starting on the wrong footing in terms of being dishonest. And as you can tell, there's information that he did not divulge, which means he's keeping secrets already away from the electorate. So, Mr. Estevan, are you with the SLP because you are a Labourite at core, or is it because you failed in your bid to become the candidate of the United Workers' Party? That is the question I want to ask you tonight. Okay? When you talk about opportunism, ladies and gentlemen, that is a classic case of opportunism. A man who clearly does not have your interests, but instead his personal interests at heart. I will now read to you, ladies and gentlemen, as evidence of what I am talking about, John Paul Estefan's application to the United Workers' Party requesting that he become the candidate for Barbono for the said United Workers' Party. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read to you right now this letter from John Paul Estefan addressed to the chairman of the Barbono United Workers' Party constituency branch. Reference is expression of interest to represent Barbono constituency. It reads, please accept this submission as an expression of my interest and desire to represent the constituency of Barbono on behalf of the United Workers' Party in the next general elections to be held in St. Lucia. I have dedicated my life to the service of people at Barbono, blah, blah, blah. And in the final paragraph, he says, it is my fervent belief that collaboratively we will win the Barbono seat and our party will continue its developmental agenda for our people and community. I look forward to working with you and the rest of the team. Yours sincerely, John Estefan. Mr. Estefan, what has happened since then? That letter was dated September 13th, 2023. And as you know, the United Workers' Party goes through a process where they actually select candidates to become the candidate. The process starts at the constituency level, and then it is escalated to the national level. And there are certain things that ought to happen at the constituency level, and there are other things that ought to happen at the national level before a candidate can be endorsed by the National Council and presented to the general public as the candidate for the United Workers' Party. I do not know, I know the SLP have their process, I'm not familiar exactly with what it is. But, ladies and gentlemen, I read to you that application that was sent to the United Workers' Party by John Paul Estefan in September, that is September 13th, 2023. Now, let us hear from the impostor himself, that same John Estefan, who was a member of the United Workers' Party Barbono constituency branch, and who submitted his application to vie to become a candidate for the United Workers' Party in the said constituency, that is the constituency of Barbono. Let us hear now, in his words, what Mr. John Paul Estefan has to say as he attempts to reinvent himself now as the SLP candidate for Barbono. Let's play clip number 1.
Now, I just want to tell you, I am a Labourite at the core. I started following the Labour Party in 1987 when I was living with my grandmother.
The man whom I just told you was a member of the UWP and an applicant to become a candidate for the UWP says to the gathering and to the rest of St. Lucia that he himself is a Labourite at the core and that he's a Labourite since 1987. So how come you didn't divulge to the general public what I've just said to them? I said, and you in a position to contest that if you wish, that I know you to be a member of the United Workers' Party since 2018. And in fact, you attempted to become the candidate for the United Workers' Party. So like I asked, what has happened? What has changed? These are the kind of opportunists that we have to be mindful of and beware of in the politics of St. Lucia. These are the people who just switch sides like they switch their pants, not based on any principle, not based on any solid basis, but simply on a basis of self-interest. These are the people we have to be careful about. These are the people we have to be mindful of and watch closely in the politics of this country. Because if this man is showing such little allegiance and loyalty to any side, who is to say what he is going to do if he becomes elected? I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that he has started on the wrong footing, has presented himself as a dishonest person, and that, I think, will not go down well with many of the electorate, nor will it augur well for him in his future political career. Has definitely started on the wrong footing. But suffice it to say, he failed against the very tightest prevail, who is the candidate for the United Workers' Party. So John Paul, you failed in your bid against Titus, so you have lost round one. What gives you the impression that you stand a chance when it comes to the real battle, that is the general election? Okay? You are already starting off as a failure. And to make matters worse, you have presented yourself just like your colleagues, just like the others, just like the people you have embraced, as a dishonest person who actually holds secrets like the others that you have embraced. And that is not what we look for. That is not what we are seeking in a person who is coming to serve as a parliamentary representative. We expect transparency, we expect accountability, and you have demonstrated that those principles mean nothing to you. Because for you to try to give the Laborites the impression, now that you want them to embrace you, that you have been a Laborite at the core from since 1987, you are lying. You were a member of the United Workers' Party too as well. Why didn't you divulge that? You were making a bid to become a candidate for the UWP. Why didn't you divulge that? So, those secrets that you have held and those lies that you have told will be your undoing. You cannot be trusted, and you're starting off on the wrong footing. In any case, you have just lumped yourself with the pile. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the way of the St. Lucia Labour Party, the SLP, who harbor secrets, who tell lies, and advance propaganda. Ladies and gentlemen, that was section 1 for you, the section on SLP, the way of the St. Lucia Labour Party, secrets, lies, and propaganda. Thank you.
You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Why, sir?
The views of the host of this program is independent of Hot 7 TV, Kiss FM, and Hot FM Communications Limited.
St. Lucia, Hot 7 TV was the first to bring you a full HD newscast. Now, here's another first. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now your first newscast for the evening in St. Lucia. You heard right. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now at 7:15. Yes, tune in at 6:45 p.m. and be the first to catch the latest happenings in your world. On the run, watch us on your cell phone or tablet via the Caribbean Hot FM app. Trusted, objective journalism from our diligent news team. Get it fresh, get it hot. The Hot 7 Nightly News, now at 7:15. Watch us on channel 117 on Flow, channel 7 Plug and Play, or follow us on Facebook Live on Caribbean Hot 7 TV.
Did you know that while you're busy with your day, important news is breaking all around you? From politics to weather updates, community stories, and breaking news. Hot 7 TV keeps you informed with news every hour on the hour. Don't wait to hear it secondhand. Stay ahead. Stay informed with Hot 7 TV St. Lucia. News notes on the hour. Stay updated wherever you are. Catch Hot 7 TV St. Lucia's news every hour on the air, on our mobile app, and on our website. Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our four corners of the globe. Our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected.
Looking for the best way to advertise? Stop searching. Hot 7 TV gives you more reach, more impact, and more value. Get your business in front of the right audience and watch your sales soar. Don't miss out. Call 452-6040 today and take advantage of our exclusive advertising packages. Hot 7 TV, smart advertising for smart businesses.
St. Lucia, Hot 7 TV was the first to bring you a full HD newscast. Now, here's another first. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now your first newscast for the evening in St. Lucia. You heard right. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now at 7:15. Yes, tune in at 6:45 p.m. and be the first to catch the latest happenings in your world. On the run, watch us on your cell phone or tablet via the Caribbean Hot FM app. Trusted objective journalism from our diligent news team. Get it fresh, get it hot. The Hot 7 Nightly News, now at 7:15. Watch us on channel 117 on Flow, channel 7 Plug and Play, or follow us on Facebook Live on Caribbean Hot 7 TV.
Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our four corners of the globe. Our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected. Did you know that while you're busy with your day, important news is breaking all around you? From politics to weather updates, community stories, and breaking news. Hot 7 TV keeps you informed with news every hour on the hour. Don't wait to hear it secondhand. Stay ahead. Stay informed with Hot 7 TV St. Lucia. News notes on the hour. Stay updated wherever you are. Catch Hot 7 TV St. Lucia's news every hour on the air, on our mobile app, and on our website.
St. Lucia, Hot 7 TV was the first to bring you a full HD newscast. Now, here's another first. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now your first newscast for the evening in St. Lucia. You heard right. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now at 7:15. Yes, tune in at 6:45 p.m. and be the first to catch the latest happenings in your world. On the run, watch us on your cell phone or tablet via the Caribbean Hot FM app. Trusted objective journalism from our diligent news team. Get it fresh, get it hot. The Hot 7 Nightly News, now at 7:15. Watch us on channel 117 on Flow, channel 7 Plug and Play, or follow us on Facebook Live on Caribbean Hot 7 TV.
Did you know that while you're busy with your day, important news is breaking all around you? From politics to weather updates, community stories, and breaking news. Hot 7 TV keeps you informed with news every hour on the hour. Don't wait to hear it secondhand. Stay ahead. Stay informed with Hot 7 TV St. Lucia. News notes on the hour. Stay updated wherever you are. Catch Hot 7 TV St. Lucia's news every hour on the air, on our mobile app, and on our website. Now you can take Hot FM, Kiss FM, and Hot 7 TV with you wherever you go. Whether you're in St. Lucia or exploring our four corners of the globe. Our record-breaking app has already been downloaded over 500,000 times on Google Play and the Apple App Store. To bring you the best in HD sound, we've relaunched a brand new app. Get it for free in the App Store by simply searching Caribbean Hot FM HD. Listen to us in real time, anywhere, any place, anytime. We've added so many cool new features, like our live in-studio option, where you can see your favorite announcers and DJs at work. So download the app today. It's free. Spread the news. St. Lucia is now in HD around the world on the Hot FM app. Don't miss out. Join the fun and stay connected.
Looking for the best way to advertise? Stop searching. Hot 7 TV gives you more reach, more impact, and more value. Get your business in front of the right audience and watch your sales soar. Don't miss out. Call 452-6040 today and take advantage of our exclusive advertising packages. Hot 7 TV, smart advertising for smart businesses.
St. Lucia, Hot 7 TV was the first to bring you a full HD newscast. Now, here's another first. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now your first newscast for the evening in St. Lucia. You heard right. The Hot 7 Nightly News is now at 7:15. Yes, tune in at 6:45 p.m. and be the first to catch the latest happenings in your world. On the run, watch us on your cell phone or tablet via the Caribbean Hot FM app. Trusted, objective journalism from our diligent news team. Get it fresh, get it hot. The Hot 7 Nightly News, now at 7:15. Watch us on channel 117 on Flow, channel 7 Plug and Play, or follow us on Facebook Live on Caribbean Hot 7 TV.
Yes, welcome back, viewers and listeners, to Like It Is, and thanks for staying tuned with us. Those of you on Hot 7 TV, those listening on Kiss FM, those of you following us on live stream on Facebook or YouTube, and those of you who are reaching us through the Caribbean Hot 7 app or our account on YouTube. As you know, we only recently streaming on YouTube. You can get us on Caribbean Hot 7 TV. That is our YouTube account. So thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for tuning in. And again, I want to say a very special welcome to those of you from the diaspora who on a weekly basis tune in to Like It Is. So tonight, before I go to my guests, I just want to say we have had our SLP segment, but you know the persistent misinformation and disinformation peddled by the United Workers' Party. I've decided that one by one on every show, I will begin to dismantle them and debunk some of it. One of the lies being advanced by the St. Lucia Labour Party, especially by El Quapo, I hear Mary Polius also advancing it, that is the United Workers' Party remained in office for 6 years. Now that is an abject lie, and they are suggesting that Alan Chasney in his high-handed way, violated some rules or laws and decided to stay in office past 5 years, and he stayed until 6 years. So let's deal with the facts now, ladies and gentlemen. While they're talking their rubbish, the reality is what we're interested in on Like It Is. So the election of 2016 ushered in the United Workers' Party government. And on average, they are supposed to remain in office for about 5 years. So June the 6th, if we go according to the date of the election, 2021 would have been 5 years. However, according to the constitution of this country, the highest law of our land, it says that the term begins from the date of the first sitting of Parliament, after the new government is formed. The term begins from the first sitting of Parliament and goes to up to 90 days after the 5th anniversary of that sitting. So in other words, when the United Workers' Party won the election on the 6th of June 2016, they actually had the first sitting of Parliament on the 12th of July 2016. So the term actually began on the 12th of July 2016. So in other words, the 12th of July 2021 would have been exactly 5 years. But bear in mind that the Constitution permits a government up to 90 days after that anniversary date. So after the 12th of July 2016, the government could legally go on for another 90 days, which would take them up to the 12th of October 2021. So the question is, when was the election called? When did Alan Chastanet call the election? Alan Chastanet called the election on the 26th of July 2021. So in other words, a mere, my maths is not that good, I always tell you all that around here. So 12 from 26 is what, 14? Right? A mere 2 weeks past the anniversary date. Whereas he was entitled to go up to 3 months, 90 days, up to 3 months after, a mere 2 weeks after. So that shows you how dishonest those people in the Labour Party are. PIP pushes that, as the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre, pushes that rhetoric. He knows better, and I'll prove to you that he knows better in a while. Richard Frederick El Quapo keeps peddling that almost on a weekly basis on his show. I've heard now that Mary Polius has her show. She has started saying it as well. And of course, the propagandists, okay, the surrogates of the St. Lucia Labour Party, whom they give notes to call talk shows, keep repeating that nonsense. So I am clarifying now, and I'm clearing the air for those of you who are interested in truth and reality, that is absolutely a lie. There was nothing like the government remaining in office, anything close to 6 years. As a matter of fact, even if we went according to convention, where you normally go around the anniversary date, it was around the anniversary date, just 2 weeks past the anniversary date. Okay, so there was absolutely nothing wrong done, and absolutely no abuse of any power or breaking of any law. So, ladies and gentlemen, now that you have, for example, the St. Lucia Labour Party in office, the election was the 26th of July, but their first sitting of Parliament was the 17th of August 2021. So in fact, the 5th anniversary date would be the 17th of August 2026, and they have up to 90 days past that if they so desire to stay in office. Of course, we the people of St. Lucia do not want to be tortured for such a long time. As a matter of fact, we want to be delivered from the suffering and abuses that we are facing right now. So we are calling on the Prime Minister to ring the bell and call the election as soon as possible. And so, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it is all lies. And you know, Richard Frederick cannot help himself. El Quapo doesn't know anything better. The best he does is to tell a half-truth. He doesn't know anything about the truth. And so he lies and plays on the ignorance of the supporters of the Labour Party and some of the people who are fanatically supporting him, and make them even more ignorant than they already are by telling them that nonsense. And poor people, they go around repeating it, not knowing better. But you have no excuse now, because I just told you what the truth is, and you now know what the reality is. So stop regurgitating the filth that you are fed with by the St. Lucia Labour Party. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it always starts from the top. Now, Philip J. Pierre, there's a lot that he does not know, but I can guarantee you that on this occasion, when he says that, when he gives you that impression, he is being dishonest. He knows very well exactly what the reality is. Let's listen to the next clip, which will illustrate my point.
Again, the last elections were held on the 6th of June 2016. Convention dictates election I held 5 years later. So 6th of June 2021, supposed to have elections. Okay. But they're doing nothing wrong constitutionally. I want to make it clear. They're doing nothing wrong constitutionally, but the Constitution says that the elections have to be held, can be held up to 3 months after the first sitting of Parliament. The first sitting of Parliament is the 12th of July. So they have 3 months, which is 12th of October.
So you heard him. They did nothing wrong constitutionally, but he cannot help himself. He still tried to insinuate that there was something amiss because the anniversary date was the 12th of July. And so they should have, according to convention, held the election. There's no such thing. That's nonsense. That's crap. And as a result, it wasn't anything close to 6 years. It was just 2 weeks past the 5th anniversary date, whereas they could have gone up to 90 days after the 5th anniversary date. So, ladies and gentlemen, just another illustration of the misinformation and disinformation that comes from the St. Lucia Labour Party. And I promise you, on a weekly basis, we're going to take them one by one and debunk them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to more salient, more important matters. I have here in studio with me tonight a guest, a special guest, and he is a gentleman from the South. I would like at this juncture to welcome Mr. Wayne Harrow to Like It Is. Mr. Harrow, welcome to Like It Is. And this is your first time on Like It Is. It is no big deal, I can tell you. The ground rules, the house rules of Like It is that you're just required to tell it like it is. And so
thank you very much, Spider.
Yeah.
Special welcome and thank you to your viewers, your listeners, wherever they are, for giving me the opportunity to make an appearance on Like It Is so we can speak and share the information and facts like it is on the ground.
Now, I know you're fairly well known, but for the benefit of my viewers who do not know who you are, just a quick, brief introduction of Mr. Wayne Harrow. Mr. Wayne Harrow is an attorney by profession, and you hail from Vieux Fort.
Yes, yeah, well, yeah, but just yes, I'm an attorney and I hail from the South.
That's right.
The belly of the South, the South, not the library or anywhere else, but from Vieux Fort, from the back of the area in Vieux Fort. And so I consider myself grassroots Vieux Fort, you understand? And I'm here tonight in that capacity. Although I'm a member of the United Workers' Party, but tonight I see myself batting as a soldier for the people of Vieux Fort. Whether you are Labour or UWP, I believe there are some facts that we have to put before the people so that they can arrive at their own decisions, you understand? But there are sufficient information out there, facts on the ground for where Vieux Fort is concerned, that the people of St. Lucia, the people of Vieux Fort, wherever they are, can use to analyze and arrive at their own decision without being propagandized by the St. Lucia Labour Party or just not being misled by anyone.
Okay, sounds good so far. It tells me that we are in for a very good program of Like It Is. So, Mr. Harrow, just to delve a little further, you actually was a prospective candidate for the United Workers' Party for the upcoming general election. And, well, of course, we know now that a selection was made, and it is Miss Johannes, Lady Lee. And so tell me, what is the situation now? And I'm deliberately asking you that question in light of the fact that we're hearing so much talk about, the opposition want to project a view out there that there's division in the party and so on, just because one or two members appeared to have been disgruntled and went their way. Well, what is the situation with you as far as the United Workers' Party is concerned in the constituency of Vieux Fort and your relationship with Miss Liana Johannes?
Spider, growing up, I played a lot of football, I played a lot of cricket. I was an athlete, at secondary school. I remember, having my own football, my own cricket ball. But if there is one thing I remember clearly, I never took my ball and ran away from the playing field when I did not agree with any of the footballers, my colleagues or the referee making the decision. I say that just to illustrate the point that the United Workers' Party had a process. We all applicants knew the process in advance, and we participated in the process. Whether or not I agree with the outcome of the process is beyond the point. I submitted to the process. I will hasten to say that while I am disappointed in the decision, but I'm not heartbroken. I'm not going to cry about it or make noise or agitate about it. I belong to a political party. I belong to an organization. We have rules and we have regulations. The party decided based on the system of selection that Leonard Johannes Paul is in fact the best candidate at the time. What do? Do I protest? Do I switch allegiance from the United Workers' Party to the St. Lucia Party? No. That, in my point, is not mature. If you submit to a process and you believe deep down in your heart the process was not impugned by any irregularity, okay, because human beings are the ones who took the decisions, and for whatever reason, it's up to them. But I belong to the political party. That is where I am until, but I'm lending my support to her, and from day one when she was selected as the candidate, I have basically employed myself and given myself the directive to assist her in whatever way possible. I've been through many campaigns before. I joined the party in 2001. I was the campaign manager for Dr. Gail Rigobert in 2016. I assisted Dr. Mondes in 2006. I was his campaign manager.
That is Ulrich Mondes.
Yes. So I
remember we have many Mondes in the politics.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I understand the process. And I'm not one to, listen to me. I've been through hell. I've been through, not two. I've been through. So not being selected as a candidate, that takes nothing from me. My self-esteem, my self-confidence is absolutely intact. It takes nothing from me. As far as I'm concerned, you don't have to be the captain of the team to score the goals. You don't have to be the captain of the team to make sure that the team actually achieves something meaningful. You understand?
Well, so, I agree with you 100%. As a person who was in the fray myself and who's no longer there, but I continue to play my role. And I'm happy to hear those words coming from you. And I think those are words of a principled person. And I hope that many of our members will hear that and be guided by that, because that is the way to go in terms of operating as a team player.
But then again, you cannot expect everyone to toe the same line, because we are human beings. We have different emotions, different feelings. If you decide to jump ship, you jump ship and face the consequences. If there is benefit to you, then there's benefit to you. If there is no benefit to you, that is basically your decision, because we all have that free will. Right. I mean, from biblical times, tell you, we have the free will. Far less right now in modern era where we still have the free will. You have a choice to make, and it's yours. You are left with all the facts, everything given you counsel as to what to do, what not to do. But at the end of the day, the decision is your decision.
And while the decision is your decision, we have to understand that we'll be judged by the decisions that we make. And so be it. But enough of that for now. Let's move on. I want to get into the discussion about the South. First of all, let me ask you a question. You said you joined the United Workers' Party since 2001.
Yes.
That's the year.
Just around the alliance.
That's the year.
Dr. Morella.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. That's the year I got into elective politics. I remember that time very, very well.
Okay.
So, but yes, for the benefit of our viewers, that's the time when Dr. Morella Joseph was the leader of the party, and when the alliance broke up. But I'm looking at you as a man from the South, when you say from the heart of the South. If I'm not mistaken, View Fort in particular has been represented for the last 28, 29 years by the St. Lucia Labour Party. And even before that, we had Peter Josie, who was also from the St. Lucia Labour Party at the time. So the St. Lucia Labour Party has represented View Fort for a very long time. So why did you choose to align with the United Workers' Party as opposed to the St. Lucia Labour Party that had been representing your constituency for so long?
It was a very simple decision. I believe in human upliftment and human development. Someone, if you have an objective in life, you focus. You have to actually put the bulk of the energy to achieve what you want to achieve. your family and people around you, what they're supposed to do is to provide the support system. But the energy to achieve what you have to achieve, it's up to you. The United Workers' Party, when you study the history of the United Workers' Party in Beaufort South, the vast majority of the economic engine in Beaufort was actually laid down by the United Workers' Party. The St. Lucia Labour Party, on the other hand, and I will get into the little fine details in a while, I believe that there is some policy decisions the Labour Party have taken over the years, over the decades, and I will not fault them for that. But I believe that Beaufort as a community should be further ahead today than where it is right now. If you extrapolate what the United Workers' Party contributed to Beaufort South and what they encouraged, there is nothing left for the Labour Party to put their hands on. Winera, under the stewardship of Sir John Compton and the United Workers' Party, the brewery, the airport, the seaport, you understand, and just name it. It was under the leadership of Sir John George Melvin Compton. I mean, you talk about the free zone. I mean, it has been re-enhanced by the Chinese who came into Beaufort. But when you go to the industrial estate along the St. Jude's Highway, all the factory shells were there because of the work of Sir John Compton. So I saw the United Workers' Party as a party that laid a foundation for you to go in there and work and feed yourself. I believe that if you are poor, you are indigent, you are infirm, you have some mental challenge, yes, the Labour Party and the United Workers' Party, they have a duty legally and morally to assist you. But if you are an able-bodied person, what I believe is in educate yourself. But it is up to you right now to go into the system, to find jobs, to participate in the economy, to feed your family. No man on earth should tell you, look, every month here is a handout. You are supposed to work within a system to earn an income for yourself. And the Labour Party, as far as I'm concerned, my analysis, there is too much of a dependency syndrome. And this is what Titus previously said. The United Workers' Party is a hands up, whereas the St. Lucia Labour Party is about a hands down. As I said, I am not against the hands down, but I don't believe it should be across the board. Create an environment where people can go to work, and every fortnight, every month, they go back to their home with their own salary, and they can do whatever they want with their money. And that is basically why my inclination is towards the Sir John United Workers' Party, Alan Chasney, for example, with the investments in Beaufort in his first term.
Okay, so you mentioned Sir John to start with, and you ended again with Sir John. And that certainly is the philosophy by which Sir John was guided. And he would have said similar to what you just said there about giving a man a fish as opposed to teaching him how to fish. And his approach was teaching the man how to fish so that he could feed himself forever, as opposed to giving him a fish which was only one meal. And so, but you see, I understand all what you said, but I still want to say to you, but you had your representative was Prime Minister for about 15 years. So what happened? I mean, I would imagine that's a golden opportunity for your constituency, where what Sir John had, the foundation that Sir John had laid could have been built upon. So what went wrong? What happened?
What went wrong? You see, again, let's go back to 2016, 2021. Beaufort South. Alan Chasney came in with Ojo Labs and ITEL. Okay, just take them just two for example, Ojo Labs and ITEL. And you had this
and this
barrage.
For the benefit of my callers as well, call centers.
Call centers where you introduce young St. Lucians and people from the south, throughout St. Lucia, to the informatics, where people can actually go to work and they earn a decent income. Yes, I understand there were queries with regards to the condition of work and labor relations, but they actually went home every month, every fortnight or whatever with a decent salary, and they were able to do their own shopping. They were able to invest in their vehicles, in their land, improving their house, getting their kids to school on their own terms and conditions. No vouchers, nothing. Now, as I said, no vouchers. I am not discounting that there are people you must help, don't get me wrong.
You understand that,
but the vast majority of the young Sir Athol Lewis graduates and secondary school graduates from the South, They had an opportunity to go to ITEL and Ojo Labs to work, and they felt proud about it, earning. Now, compare that 5 years with Dr. Kenny Anthony from 1997 to now. What, in fact, did you actually deliver to the people of Vieux Fort? What can you place your hands on to say that here is the impetus for employment in Vieux Fort? The Vieux Fort Constituency Council and St. Jude Hospital remains the largest employers. That's government work. I'm not discounting that again. But the private sector, there is no flourishing of the private sector in Vieux Fort. There is nothing that he can place his hands on and say, this is what I really invested or encouraged. As a matter of fact, when Ojo Labs and ITEL came in, the St. Lucia Labour Party in opposition, they lambasted the Alan Chastanet administration. But guess what? If it's a foreign investor, you have to actually make an input, because what will happen to your people? You get good salaries. The government at the time did some financial support. You were part of cabinet, you know that.
Yeah.
But right now, ITEL is on its own, Ojo Lab is on its own, and they can survive on their own. And guess what? Our people are still working. They still go home with a decent salary. Where else in Vieux Fort have you seen that kind of economic activity or commercial activity for 28 years? Where? And guess what? My district rep was the prime minister for 15 years. He was the minister of finance for 15 years. He was a district rep for 15 years. Spider, in 4 years, in 5 years, or even if the propagandist for the SLP says 6 years. But for 5 years or 6 years or 4 years, we saw more.
It was 5 years, but let's not forget we were robbed of almost 2 years by COVID. You know, but despite that, you know,
whether you want to subtract the time for COVID or leave it, but there was more effort for Vieux Fort. As a matter of fact, Alan Chastanet was the best district rep Vieux Fort ever had. You understand?
Though he was voted in Mipu.
Yes, but I saw more. I am not at all saying, now people tell you, but forget where Vieux Fort was, they had mud there, they had mud there. Who tell you it's not good? Of course, if you basically create a road, or you fought footpaths and drains, those things are good. But at the end of the day, the dignity of your people, it depends highly on their ability to earn and make a decision. When you open your fridge, you should be able to say, I want cheese, ham roll, eggs today. It cannot be based on some handout somewhere, or somebody feeling a hamper. No, our people are more educated. There is more energy. I know a lot of young Fortians, they really want to work. They want to work, but the opportunities over the years, and people are relegated to.
And you cannot develop an economy on that.
Your tax base gone.
Exactly.
Your tax base gone. Right. By the time they reach a certain age, the contribution to NIC is almost zero, and it's very big. Again, with the high cost of living, inflation, cost of medication, you find that it's very difficult for them to survive.
Yeah, but it's interesting because you spoke of the dignity of work, and whereas, like you quite rightly said, and I was a former social transformation minister of the United Workers' Party administration, so I can tell you, we had a number of safety net programs in place, and we did expand those programs during the time of Alan Chastanet, and we assisted those who were in need, the poor and the indigent. But like you said, what you have to do is, especially where you have able-bodied people to a great extent, is to reduce the cohort of poor and indigent people and put people to work as much as possible for their own development.
Yes, because what my analysis is that the United Workers' Party is about eliminating poverty.
Right.
And the St. Lucia Labour Party, throughout the years, it's about managing.
Yeah.
Not really perpetuating, but managing poverty. You have to put policies and certain things in place to actually elevate the standard of the people. Not just only roads and footpaths and drains, but about jobs. The vast majority of those who agitate, they are university graduates. They are trained. They have a pension. But here you are right now, instead of encouraging the government and our people to elevate themselves to, they see no reciprocity in that. I am up there, I have a pension, I have a good salary. Come, I'll give you a t-shirt there, I'll give you a hamper there, go and work this and go and work that. I have no problems with those things, but let us make a greater effort. And this is where I have no issues with Dr. Anthony. We have a very cordial relationship. As a matter of fact, let me give you a little sipsion. when I went to Bellevue and I made that statement, you know, that's Freudian slip where I talk about the house and burning and this and that. About 3 weeks after, Dr. Anthony met me at the funeral in Beaufort, and he called me and told me, listen to me, when you're in public life and public speaking, you have to be very careful with what you say. You understand? Sometimes the
emotion of the
the emotions of the moment, you know, get you. So we have a very good, my disagreement with Dr. Anthony is on his policy prioritization where Beaufort is concerned. If I Minister of Finance and Prime Minister and District Rep, I'm sorry for the other constituencies, but my first priority will be my constituency, Spider if it grows delay, you will get something, but the first priority should be Beaufort. If I just take you through some...
Especially given how neglected Beaufort has been over the years.
Yes, because he came in with this almost like a savior. He rode into Beaufort quite literally on a horse. Stable boys, they took him into Beaufort. So I too was really happy that, you know, at that time I saw, wow, there's some change. That's the first time I ever spoke to a Prime Minister. Dr. Anthony walking around, shaking our hands and talking to us. You felt good. But when you see, check his record. Check his record. Beaufort South, Spider, is the only constituency in St. Lucia without a human resource development center. Let that sink in. Beaufort South is the only constituency in St. Lucia without a human resource development center. A constituency with vibrant youth organizations when Kenny Anthony came in, Dr. Anthony came in. Okay? You go to Bellevue, Beaufort North, there is a center in Bellevue. You go to Grayson Cooley Town, there is one. Don't ask for social salty bus. Every corner you have a human resource center. Beaufort, we don't have it. We don't have it. The playing field in Beaufort, the roof gone long time. And up to today, up to this morning when I left, or this afternoon, the roof, what's happening? When you have Kenson Kazimbe come and boast $80 million to renovate the playing field, boasting about opening fields there and there, other constituencies. And my district rep, a senior member of the government, forget about that era, but before that, you could have done more. You could have done more. Put your feet down for the people that you represent. While you are the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, I have no difficulty with that. But you are first and foremost the district rep for Beaufort, and you should ensure that the people who voted for you since 1997 overwhelmingly, okay, the needs, the basic social amenities are taken care of. You look at a bus terminal. We don't have a bus terminal in Beaufort. Herod came 5 years. Yes, Herod came in 5 years at the market and the bus terminal in Soufrière.
Yeah, but wait, let me just say something to you. Now I'm here, I'm going to play devil's advocate because you...
Well, you can play the devil, I'll be the advocate.
Yeah. Now, you talked about what was not done by the St. Lucia Labour Party, and in particular Dr. Kenny Anthony. You talked about the foundation that was laid by the United Workers' Party. But forgive me for saying that, but that's the past. You are still a United Workers' Party supporter. You are advocating for the United Workers' Party. Why?
Listen to me. Alan Chasney and Sir John Compton gave me absolutely no choice. Again, it's about, let me give you an example. We had a hospital in Beaufort which burned down, okay? 80 years, 80-year-old structure. And the amount of money you would need to actually continue that project was more than you would need to create a new hospital. I have traveled, I have seen hospitals all around the world, and I saw a vision for the South with a brand new hospital. A brand new hospital. Now listen to me. So first of all, the hospital to take care of health. Alan Chasney invested millions of dollars into the water system in the South.
No, but before you go on, your hospital isn't going to have a helipad, you know. Anyway.
Yes, but I'm just laying the foundation for why I remain. In Grace Beaufort, you have a water treatment plant.
Right.
In Bon Séjour Beaufort. This is why Beaufort right now, when it comes to water, very few parts of Beaufort have water difficulties. This is why we're trying to remove the dredging fees. So you have it, health, hospital, you have the water system. Those are the things, and road network, those are the things that you actually need as a government to put in place to allow other forms of development, housing development, hotel development to actually sprout from. You understand? So I understand there's a development plan. Whereas the Labour Party and all other political parties before, I'm not seeing a plan. I'm not seeing a vision for the development of Vieux Fort. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything. We talk about Port Vieux Fort. Spider, you know, it's embarrassing as a St. Lucian, you know, to see a drive to Castries and you have this congestion around the Fulasho area where you have containers laying up the streets going all the way back to wherever. And you have a port in Vieux Fort, an empty port in Vieux Fort. They transfer equipment to Castries. They cannibalize the port in Vieux Fort. And now we're talking about used vehicles going to Vieux Fort. Used vehicles, you know.
Yeah.
As if it's a Deglo in Vieux Fort. Just dump all Koshoni in Vieux Fort. You understand?
Yeah.
We have a district rep who I believe who could have done more. You see what I'm saying? You cannot tell me, right, a container leaves Miami to Castries. So what Vieux Fort to Castries? You understand? You can't make a difference. You can't actually do more and put things in place. I know the private sector, there are probably issues about the cost of transferring, but you can subsidize them, some tax break or something. But we need work at Port Vieux Fort. And this is what I'm telling about Dr. Anthony. A lot of the Stevie does support him. But Spider, there is nothing. I've seen no improvement, no plan for Vieux Fort, which is basically to connect all the dots. You understand? There is nothing. So
Okay.
when you have
So
Alan
let's-
Shastin, I'll just go back to your question, why the United Workers' Party? I saw a plan. I saw a vision. So John, before his time, at this time, what did he do? Education, the Vieux Fort Junior Secondary School, you understand? The airport expansion. So he laid a foundation to allow businesses to come in and the people of Vieux Fort to actually flourish within that system. And this is why I continue to be a member of the United Workers' Party. I believe in its development agenda, its development philosophy.
And you spoke of the port, and I know that the United Workers' Party had grand plans for the port in Vieux Fort to make it
The cruise
the
facility.
Yeah.
But let us spend a minute on that, a few minutes on that. The United Workers' Party had a plan for the cruise ship facility in Vieux Fort. Now, people believe it's just a dock. You know, you just come there, cruise ships come there, people come on board and they go, no. That's a master plan. Spider, when a cruise vessel comes to Port Vieux Fort, if the plan materialized, it would be home porting.
Right.
What home porting means is that someone from the US or Canada or Europe who wants to embark on that cruise ship in Vieux Fort must fly into Hiwanara International Airport. Sometimes before they actually go onto the vessel, they will spend 1 or 2 nights, and you will not go to Grosile or Soufrière. You'll probably want to stay around the Vieux Fort area.
Yeah.
Okay, so it means the hotels, the guest houses, the Airbnbs, they will get some cut out of the tourism pie. The taxis,
Taxi drivers, yes.
they can do something. Now, home porting, the vessel is not just going to stay there. We have to supply the vessel with produce. So our farmers now from the south and throughout St. Lucia, when you have a cruise ship with 3,000, 5,000 passengers, they will eat a lot. They need a lot of food. So what do? You need provisions, you need water, you need liquor, you need just servicing. So that in itself will create, you know, a multiplier effect throughout the agricultural sector in the south. And again, work. The tourists, the taxis. The taxis will need fuel.
Right.
So what happens? You have to import some more. You understand? So the brokers will get some more money. So you can see the multiplier effect. It's not just about a cruise ship coming there and just a few people just come on board and they leave. No, there is so much more to the cruise facility in Vieux Fort, and that will create some balance. Spider, the people of the south, the only connection that we have, very little connection to the tourism sector in St. Lucia, is the airport and Coconut Bay.
Yeah, but let's talk about the airport now.
You understand? Let's talk about the airport. Spider, in the rainy season, every time there is any deluge of, you know, heavy rains, they have to go at S&S to buy some buckets because the roof is leaking. It has always leaked. But Spider, you know, if you go to the airport right now, there are 2 concessionaires on the outside. That's before you actually go into departure. There are 2 concessionaires in this restaurant, just 2.
Right.
Let us assume each of them with 10 employees. That's 20 employees. The new airport made provisions for more than 20 concessionaires on the outside. So you can have more restaurants, you can have a souvenir on the outside. That's before you actually go into departure.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, if you want to, how many persons will be employed? Because they need employees.
Yeah.
People will have to create employment. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia went to Dominica, I believe, or St. Vincent to have a groundbreaking ceremony for new airport.
Right.
Can you believe that?
Yeah,
Your Prime Minister.
Everyone has left us behind. St. Vincent,
Yes.
Dominica, everyone is leaving us behind when it comes to airport.
And guess what? You remember the days when we could not host West Indies cricket?
Right.
Because we did not have a stadium.
Yeah.
But the Labour Party, and credit to them for that, came in and they created the Darren Sammy cricket ground. You know? So right now we can get a lot of the international cricket. When you fail to develop your international airport, you know what happens? The airlines will not consider you because you have certain deficiencies. Persons who are disabled or differently able will have difficulties boarding an aircraft and disembarking.
Yeah.
So they will right now, I want to travel, I want to make sure that when I get out of the aircraft, my wheelchair, you know something, I can actually walk safely out of the aircraft. Probably I don't want to be, you know, in the tropical weather. You
Right.
saw
Yeah.
the president of Nigeria.
yeah.
Man, you got to get umbrellas.
Yeah.
Big tarpaulin, the umbrellas were too weak. You understand? So the airport, it is crucial to our development. And I am absolutely certain if this project was somewhere in the north, Spider, I know you're from Brazil and everything. If that project was somewhere in the north, that finished already. It finished, it gone, done, long time.
So why are you also loyal and faithful to the St. Lucia Labour Party?
Well, this is partly what I'm trying to impart that knowledge to
Yeah.
people can understand the difference between the St. Lucia Labour Party and the United Workers' Party.
Yeah.
You can flourish within policies that are implemented by the United Workers' Party. You can flourish within that system. When you board an aircraft at the V40 Monroe International Airport, whether it's raining or not, you're safely into the aircraft and out of the aircraft. Nothing can hold you back except some type of tropical weather. You understand? And that's basically where we have to take things and upgrade ourselves. St. Vincent, I saw recently that they welcome the arrival of some X-ray machines and for the containers, and you have cranes at the port in St. Vincent. I feel sad. You understand? I feel sad as a Vifortian, as if the Badlin right now is an artificial border. You know, as if all the emphasis is on the north, and we are being left behind. But again, we had someone, and we placed a lot of faith in someone we believe will deliver us. And right now, analyzing what he has done, I will not give him a 0, but he could have done so much more for the people of Beaufort South.
And we know that the United Workers' Party have been advocating all those plans, the ports in Beaufort, both airport and seaport. Now, I want to take you to a wider development now. We had, for example, the DSH, which was so heavily criticized by the St. Lucia Labour Party and condemned. What are your views about that, the possibility of having a development such as the DSH?
You see, one of the misconceptions about the DSH, it was that the DSH was only about a horse track.
Right.
That was just far-fetched, you understand? And the concerned citizens of Beaufort, listen to me. Labour Party in office since 2021. I want them to point at one project in Beaufort that they have implemented in Beaufort to enhance the economic stake in Beaufort from 2021 until now. They cannot do that. And yet they fought tooth and nail.
Right.
They were against the hospital. They were against the DSH.
Well, I'm going to come to the hospital in a while.
Everything.
Yeah, well, we spoke about the hospital.
But you can argue.
But then you talk about this DSH, how they were against it. Even up to this day, they are busy spreading misinformation, lies and propaganda about that project, because you have, again, El Quapo on his show. You have Philip Pierre and other Labour Party members who know better, who have been corrected on several occasions, but keep repeating that the United Workers' Party government gave Theo Hakim, the DSH project, 1,000 acres of land for $1, which is not true. actually it was less than 200 acres that were given to them. And sorry to say that to you, but it was, as far as I'm concerned, savanna lands that was not put into any great measure of production and so on. And with the horse racing track, it would have brought more benefit that would accrue to the people of Beaufort. And so they criticize that. And look now what they're doing with DSH and so on, which is another story. But by the way, I just want to hear how you feel about the fact that you are so directly affected by the DSH, because you'll tell me you're not from Castries, you're not from Soufrière. These are the ports that DSH will control. But DSH, as part of the
GPH.
agreement, the GPH, correct. GPH. GPH, as part of the agreement, is that the government of St. Lucia will not develop your port. With all what you say in there about the benefits that can be derived from developing Port Beaufort, that is one of the conditions, that Port Beaufort will not be developed in your lifetime. I mean, I know you probably expect to live another 100 years.
Yeah, 100 more years.
But in the next 30, 40 years, nothing will happen to your port unless GPH says so. GPH, which is a foreign company.
But let's take you back one step.
Right.
We have a district rep, Dr. Kennedy Anthony, Honorable Kenny Anthony. Whether it's true or false, whether it's factual or fictitious, you hear this thing being banded all over the place, that GPH has a clause in the agreement or in the contract which says that for 30 years,
possibly 40.
Possibly 40, because there's an additional 10, okay? These statements are being banded over the place. You represent us. You know that there's some anxiety, because you are saying to GPH, you have to basically gather or benefit as much as possible from your Soufrière development investment and your Port Castries investment.
Right.
You are my district rep. It has created some degree of anxiety because the port is basically zero. I would believe Dr. Anthony had a responsibility, a duty to the people of Beaufort, whether in Parliament or on the square when he made his statement about not going back up for election, to come and explain to the people he represents. Tell us, is it true and why? It's not true and here is the proof. You understand? Say something. But no, you have locked us into a system where we speculate about our future. You understand? The port, from what I understand there, no development at Port Beaufort until 30 to 40 years.
All right.
And GPH basically have invested somewhere else, so they have to make their money.
Right.
That's a different show. Up to all of a sudden, that's about a 5-hour talk show.
Yeah.
But that's your constituency.
Yeah.
It's in your constituency. Come out and explain to the stevedores. You profess to be loyal to you. Come and explain to the people of Beaufort who rely so heavily on income from people who work at the port to take care of their family. Come and explain to us, is it true that there should be or will be no development at Port Beaufort for the next 30 to 40 years? And if it is true, why? What was your input in that entire negotiation? And if you had no input, why? Is it lack of respect for you as a former Freetown Prime Minister and a senior member of the party and a backbencher? Why? Now, if it is in fact true, that's total disrespect to Dr. Anthony.
I agree.
Total disrespect to him. And I would point and blame the persons involved, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, the Honorable the Minister of Finance, Honorable Philippe J.Pierre. Because here you have your district rep. It's in his constituency. He must be appraised of what's happening, is especially when you have such things as port security and port development.
That's right.
Now, go back to the GPH. I am from Beaufort, I know Bonsejour. Hundreds of acres of land, farmers are grazing. Yes, persons earned something from the grazing. You understand, how the cattle there and the goats and the sheep. The Bonsejour agricultural station has been transferred to Maho in Volette, I think, in Micoud. In my opinion, that's the best place for it. But you have your ports, two major ports in Castries, Soufrière, given away. Quite literally given away.
Yeah.
And you want to compare that with DSH?
Yeah.
What we did not give out any strategic national asset.
Yeah.
You gave away a strategic national asset. So in fact, if you have to point fingers and blame and say, boy, you did the more egregious thing, it has been done by the St. Lucia Labour Party administration.
Okay, but let me take you back. So we've talked about the ports, we've talked about the projects that were on stream and can only come back on stream if you have a UWP government. But let's talk about St. Jude's Hospital. Now, the Labour Party must really like and love you all in the South, considering they represent Vieux Fort. North, they represent Vieux Fort. South, they represent Labrie for as long as I know. Your major hospital is St. Jude's Hospital. You mentioned it earlier that it was burned some 16 years ago in a fire. And the effort has been ongoing since to provide a proper hospital because the hospital is now housed at the stadium. You started by saying that they are going into an 80-year-old building to give you a hospital, as opposed to the UWP who was giving you a state-of-the-art, brand new, built-for-purpose hospital with helipad and all of that. Now, you can tell I'm a little jealous here, I keep talking about your helipad. But, I mean, how do you all feel in the South about that decision made by Philip JP and his administration? I suspect just because Alan Chasney had something to do with it and their hatred for Alan Chasney, to go back to that 80-year-old building and spend so much money as opposed to just completing that new hospital, which could have been done well within the space of a year with far less expenditure.
Spider, I believe the South is suffering right now under this administration because of the hatred for Alan Chasney. And throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia, anything Alan Chasney started was not completed before he was, with the election results, stopped.
Yeah.
The Labour Party actually stopped everything. Imagine the airport, you have spent almost $50 million in the foundation, okay? And that stopped. $50 million, you always started drawing down from the finances from Taiwan.
Yeah.
The airport was on its way, but you see, it's Vieux Fort, as if you start something good and you have some agitators, loud, illogical. They come and they make noise and people tend to believe and a lot of them are retirees, they have good jobs and they're community leaders. So they agitate, but they don't agitate for Vieux Fort. They agitate to present themselves to the hierarchy of the St. Lucia Labour Party, to let them know, listen to me, I'm on your side. So when you get in, I don't forget me. They just destroy everything. It's almost like a kamikaze. Just go in, I don't really care what happens. Going back to the hospital, Matnik, anywhere in the world, you don't really care about whether the hospital is round or whether it's a triangle, a rectangle, or a box. But you had our district rep, an educated man, a cultured man, a man who has traveled, came back and just labeled it a box, and everybody ran with that. People don't want to be in a box. You understand? It is sad.
Yeah.
It is very sad. It doesn't matter. What you're concerned about at the hospital is the quality of care. You need good doctors, good nurses, ancillary staff, a good lab, good radiology. Yes, that's what it's about.
Structure, yeah.
And pay the workers properly, just so that you can elevate and you can actually feel 10% being cured even before you start working on you. It's not about the shape of, because when you're in your room, the room is a cubicle, you don't really care about what's basically the care that you are getting. That's what you're concerned about. But you have some loud people, some very aggressive.
Are you talking about the concerned, so-called concerned citizens?
Well, I like the way so-called concerned,
yeah.
because right now I am concerned. Why are they not concerned about what has happened or not happened in Vieux Fort?
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. I've not heard these concerned citizens talk about a bus terminal. I've not heard them talk about the roof on the playing field in Vieux Fort. I've not heard them talk about the Vieux Fort market. You know, Herod in Soufrière, Grand Market, Honorable Baptist in Labrie. A few weeks ago, grand opening of a market in Labrie. Castries Market Both governments, they have spent millions on the Castries market. We have a market in Vieux Fort. You know what they have done? They have transferred or transformed the market into an entertainment center. So right now, Vieux Fort has no market. So while it is not okay for people to vend along the street sides in Castries to say, oh, health reasons or pedestrian safety, it's okay for Vieux Fort. People can come and vend all along Clark Street. There's no market. Why are we just sitting there and not saying anything about it? Where are the concerned citizens? They are only concerned when the United Workers' Party is in office trying to push progress for the people of the South. But let me tell you something. When the United Workers' Party gets back into office soon, I will invite the concerned citizens to reconstitute themselves and let's do what they did. Because I believe this time around the people of Vieux Fort, they'll be met with a almost simultaneous opposition. If you rally with 1,000, we will rally with 5,000 or more. I don't believe this time around the people of Vieux Fort will allow the concerned citizens to bamboozle them into believing that what Alan Shastey and the United Workers' Party did or planned for Vieux Fort, you know, was bad. They will not do that anymore. Okay? And I've not heard, listen to me, you know Bruceville?
Right.
Spider, every part of Vieux Fort, every part of St. Lucia, you talk about go on Crown lands, you'll get your title deed. You hear about the PROUD, Program for the Regularization of Unplanned Development. The people of Bruceville in K1, that's the polling division. If you check the results from the days of deceased Bruce Williams until now, predominantly they vote for the St. Lucia Labour Party. And to date, there is no concerted effort to regularize the land for the people of Bruceville. They still live, they still build without lands being surveyed or receiving title, whether by sale, donation, transfer, or lease. But you say you love them, and you're about to exit parliamentary life, and your people, those who really stood steadfast with you, you have not even delivered something that can transform their lives and their livelihoods. You understand? So this time around, I believe there's a lot of, proper information. People can, compare and contrast the two administrations. You don't have to go way back to Sir John, just 2016 to 2021. But before we go into that, people talk about COVID and Alan Shastey, this and that. Listen, during the COVID, revenues were always zero. Remember?
Yeah.
There was nothing coming in.
Right.
But police officers were paid.
All public servants were paid.
All public servants were paid.
Yeah.
So where did they get the money from? And they talk about you borrowed. The monies went back to the public servants in the form of salaries. They got paid.
Yeah.
There was an effort to pay them with bonds or whatever.
Yeah.
But the union said no.
Right.
But the government at the time had to get the money to pay them. But there was zero monies coming in. You remember, no vessels coming in, no passengers, so you couldn't collect taxes.
Yeah.
But you had to pay. And every month you have to look for millions and millions of dollars to meet your obligations.
But I want to introduce an ugly subject.
Ugly subject.
That you may not like.
Talk to me.
You come from an escalated crime zone. That's what my Prime Minister told me about you. How do you all in Vieux Fort feel? I mean, I know there was a crime situation that had, gone out of hand in Vieux Fort, but not unlike what is happening today in Marshall, in Castries, in other parts of St. Lucia. But you all got the label of an escalated crime zone, which you all still carry. As a Vieux Fortian, how do you feel about this whole thing? And comment too about the whole crime situation in this country and in the South.
But Spider, that's a very sensitive topic in the sense that a lot of Vieux Fortians did in fact lost their lives. I have family members and people I know, friends, neighbors who were actually gunned down. So it's not something that I play a lot of politics with. But it is sad that we had no one, standing for us. After it was declared an escalated crime zone, you had the RSS coming in, and I saw a few violations of people's constitutional rights. I saw that, but again, in the interest of resolving or putting to rest the firearms, everything, I supported that. And
but
so
during COVID, the SLB couldn't think like that, right?
Exactly. So we had this. So far, the people of Vieux Fort, and let me say, I am not saying it is because of the SLP or the UWP or anybody else. The people of Vieux Fort saw the wisdom to say, listen, our disputes can be resolved in a different manner. So we have had a very long period of almost zero, serious crimes in Vieux Fort. Up until recently, we had a double homicide in Latuni, Vieux Fort, and I extend my condolences to the families.
I'd like to do the same, yes.
And I know the people.
Okay.
You understand? But here is where now, as I said, I did not play politics with that part of it. But here is where I will play politics. Because the period of time Vieux Fort has seen this almost quiet businesses basically suffering because of that label. People, Vieux Fort is from 6 o'clock, shut down. Cowboy City, ghost town. On the other hand, up until recently, the North, Castries Basin, Spider, what is happening? What is happening? People are being gunned down almost every other day. It's not about playing politics, but it's the hypocrisy now that you were able to quickly target Vieux Fort and label Vieux Fort as an escalated crime area. But it is right now in your backyard. And you have failed now to take any serious measure to arrest the problem or the escalated crime area in your own constituency, your own region. So it goes back to the question again, the quality of representation that we have in Vieux Fort. You understand?
Yeah.
I understand there was a need to do something.
Right.
But why not now? Why not now? In your city.
Yeah.
In your city. There seems to be deafening silence, as if we are second-class citizens. In every aspect when it comes to social amenities, nothing happening for us. When it comes to regulating crime and managing crime, Paknuki Pliba.
Yeah.
You understand?
And before we go further, I want to take this opportunity because we had 4 murders last week. 2, of course, as you said, Latuni, you said?
Yes, Latuni.
Yeah, but one of them was in the town of Grosile. I know the young man very well. I know his mother, and I want to extend my condolences to Marilyn and to, pray that Ned Herman's soul rest in peace. This was a very polite young man and so on. But you see, what bothers me is took place. Because there's a program that the UWP started, putting CCTV cameras around the place. When I was told where that crime took place, there's an electric pole there with 3 cameras on it. There's a restaurant with cameras around. But to date, no arrest. But everybody on the street of Grosile can tell you who was the perpetrator. These are the things that bother me. If we're serious about dealing with crime, and they tell you do not pull it in, and if we're serious about dealing with crime, we have to ensure that we, discourage that rampant crime spree that is going on in this country. In the middle of the street, near where the Friday night activities are taking place in Grosile, that happened. And so anyway, I didn't want to do it, but I just wanted to take a moment to express my condolences to the family, and especially. But
it's important, because when you talk about crime prevention and fighting crime, etc., it's not just about giving the police vehicles, and giving them jet skis and snowmobiles or whatever. No, you have to. It's a holistic approach to resolving the system of crime. The justice system must be functional. You understand? The police must be given more training. You understand? It's not just about vehicles. It's not. That's not all. So you can boast about that. You can boast about the Grosile police headquarters. That's not all. You have to actually train your police officers and probably get more police officers who are specialized. In fingerprinting or blood splatter and probably ballistics experts, etc. Because right now, to get a matter, the police will arrest someone and probably take 4 to 5 years before there can be any resolution to that.
Right.
So what happens right now if someone perpetuates a criminal offense against you, says to me, I ain't calling police, I'll let it rest, but I'll take my revenge. Because the people right now are seeking alternatives to dispute resolution outside of the justice system. So
that's because the justice system is failing.
It has failed and continues to fail. And so the vehicles are just one tiny aspect of the actual assistance to the police. But the police are not just the only part of the justice system.
True.
We need more magistrates, we need more judges, we need more courthouses.
Yeah.
We need to, because we have a backlog, we need to basically get over the backlog.
And I'll say something that's Simon related, we need more community programs.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, it's holistic.
Yeah.
But I was speaking specifically about a justice system.
Right.
So, I mean, let me give you an example of how ridiculous our entire system is in the Caribbean and St. Lucia. Spider, we still criminalize, you know, in St. Lucia, 40 grams of cannabis. It's legal.
Yeah.
If you have 45 grams, you will can be arrested,
Right.
prosecuted for possession or intent to supply, and you can get a criminal record.
Right.
I find that to be totally ridiculous, and I'll tell you why. In North America, in Europe, corporations are making billions and billions of dollars in the cannabis industry.
That's right.
And yet we are still criminalizing our
Young
predominantly our young men
Well,
with criminal records. They can't get jobs, they can't go to the embassy, they can't do so many things. But yet, talking about Alan Shasta is a white man, colonialism. That is colonialism.
That's right.
You are actually perpetuating colonialism against your people.
I am 100% with you, because if you go back and you listen to my, utterances in the past when I was a parliamentarian, I spoke on that matter. Now I know the last administration, Alan Shasta administration, were working on the whole idea of industrializing marijuana and removing that stigma of making our people criminals for that, giving our young people criminal records and so on. I remember Bradley Felix was the lead minister on that. We had begun to make some strides, but then the SLP, in the effort to be elected, had Sean Edward making pronouncements.
Going to Bodile
and free all young people. For that matter, free them, he would transport them himself and so on. It's 4 years now, and he has forgotten that he said so. These are the kind of things, where, and they talk about putting people first,
Yeah, but you see, we have to really take our time and do that thing and do it quickly. There's no magic in that. It's
right.
Wasting time.
Yeah.
5 years on the United Workers' Party, 4 years on the SLP, that should have been done just a long time.
That's right.
And we are still arresting. Tell you what, 40 grams, if you have 40 grams, it's okay.
Yeah.
You allow a few marijuana plants. Man, one plant can give you more than 40 grams. So what do I do right now? It's really some illogical explanation. And yet you go overseas, you can walk into a shop, you can buy some recreational cannabis. You can sit by the road and smoke
but you see, you're making a significant point there. You are telling me that I cannot go to the overseas you're talking about where it is legal. I cannot go there, and you know why? Because I have a criminal record, because I was caught with a couple of joints.
You see? And you can go there and buy it.
Exactly.
But I cannot get a visa to go there,
right.
because I was caught with 1 pound or a few grams
and I have
of
a criminal record.
criminal record. And our young men have been really criminalized because, and let me tell you something, to have a record expunged, man, let me tell you, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
So apart from getting the conviction, whether it's a fine or whether it's an incarceration, after 4 years or 5 years, you go and you make an application to have the record cleared. Because some young men, the families are overseas and they have a record. They are the only ones left in St. Lucia. They cannot get a clean record, all because they have a conviction. Listen to me. Each man for himself when it comes to their country. America is putting things in place for Americans.
Right.
St. Lucia should put things in place for St. Lucians.
That's correct.
We have a constitution. If it say I have been punished, I paid a fine, let us go and change the Criminal Record Act, Criminal Rehabilitation Act. That's 5 years for what? 5 years to wait until a record is expunged for what? We have to work on that when you get back into office. We have to work on that. Too many young people with criminal records and it's so difficult. People already make friends and build.
Now I want to say to you, like you, I'm a UWP supporter, but we have to agitate even with our party to ensure that those things are done. Because sometimes the politicians are afraid to go forward with it because they think there will be backlash. Anyway.
Spider, you know me. I take no prisoners. All I have to say,
Right. And so, there are many other matters we want to bring up and so on. But
before we go into calls, I know you have said about calls.
Yeah.
But just let me touch on one issue with regards to Gifford North and Musa. Spider, even as the neighboring constituency, every election cycle, Musa, Honorable Moses Jean-Baptiste, it's roads. Listen to me. I spoke to Kakal Xavier yesterday.
And that is, for those of you listening,
Yeah.
that is the United Workers' Party endorsed candidate for Beaufort North.
And the man basically shared some ideas with me, and I got permission to share it before he discussed it with anybody else. Okay? Maybe he has his crew. Where Beaufort North is concerned, Spider, there's nothing wrong with ecotourism in Beaufort North. You know, we can subsidize the construction of small guest houses and even small hotels in that particular ecotourism setting.
Right.
There is nothing wrong with that. Okay? We're talking about agricultural cooperatives to help farmers get their produce to the hotels and get it overseas and have it processed and have it labeled through the Bureau of Standards, etc., with assistance from them. And Kakala is basically, you know, those kind of ideas are coming forward from him. And listen, Sir Alpha Luis, you have an agriculture division.
Right.
I would, he came up with the idea, Sir Alpha Luis, why not take the division of agriculture and put it somewhere in the Micoud area, in the Beaufort North area, so there you have a hands-on. You understand? There is nothing wrong with that because you have been on other campuses around the world.
Yeah.
You have a campus which is of 2 miles or 10
right.
miles away.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with that. That's all part of it.
Yeah.
Sir Alpha Luis up the man. Where is you have to go to Grand Riviere, I think.
Yeah, Grand Riviere.
Come on, that land can be used for something else, probably some type of, not housing, but the school at the Grand Riviere School can utilize it for the farm. But actually, Sir Alpha Luis, somewhere in Micoud, somewhere in Beaufort North, give the people of Beaufort North and Micoud North, Micoud South, further input. It cannot be only about roads, Honorable Musa. It cannot be only about roads. There's so much more you can do within your constituency.
And here's another guy who has been a parliamentary representative for ages and can't point his finger too much that he has done in that time, you know. But, you know, I am happy you're bringing out some of the plans of not just the United Workers' Party as a party with national plans, but, you know, familiar with the candidates of the North. And you just mentioned Kakal, who is the candidate, Khalid Xavier, the candidate for Beaufort North, and the plans that he has. And that is what I am interested in. I mean, yes, tell me what the problem has been, but I also want to hear the solution.
Solutions.
Yeah, and that is where I am impressed with the UWP, and you know they just put out their 7 SOS, 7-point policies to save our St. Lucia. And you talk about Sir Alpha Luis. Sir Alpha Luis will be getting some attention because tuition will be free and so on. For me, when you're not there yet, but for me, people like me, the national health insurance is a big thing. You know, I know young people don't worry about that too much, but it is for everyone, but more particularly for people who are aging. The gas is another one that is of interest to me. The government is going to reduce the price of gas to be commensurate with the price on the world market. You know, we have, I know you mentioned that one very, very early, and I can tell why. The dredging fee for the South, because you have no benefit from that, so but you're paying the fee, so that'll be a relief for the people in the South. There are so many of those policies that 2.5% will benefit all of us across the board, you know, and so, you know, these are the things I want to hear about from a government who claims that they care about people and they come to serve people. But when I want to invite our callers to call in, and I want to give them a little time to interact with you, and so I will, you know, call out the numbers so that our callers can begin to call. So, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are listening, whether in St. Lucia, in the region, in the diaspora, it is time now for you to have your say so that you can get a chance to call in and tell it like it is. So, the telephone number, our landline is 4500777. Again, 4500777. And the WhatsApp number is 284-3499. Again, 284-3499. Now, you know the rules, those of you who are regular listeners, but if you happen to be tuning in for the first time, you must be courteous to my guests. Do not attempt to take over my show by going on and on and on. Ask your questions and give my guest an opportunity. If he chooses to engage you, please let's have a dialogue and do not, you know, try to speak over my guest. So these are the basic rules, and you have to tell it like it is. Don't come here with any, you know, vague comments that, you know, putting water in your mouth. If you have water in your mouth, spit it out before you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, the lines are open. So as soon as we begin to get our calls, we will put you on. I wanted to have a call with a gentleman from the Babonneau area before our other callers come on. And that gentleman, I wanted to ask him one or two questions about the subject of my SLP segment. That is Mr. John Paul Estefan. Can we call? Yeah, we are trying to get him just before we open the line to the other callers. We are trying to get that caller. But so should we go ahead with other calls in the meantime? Okay, we are to get that caller. So I hope, I should have put him on earlier on so that it'd be, closer to the subject itself. But since I had my guest, I was eager to get into the discussions with my guests, and you have heard quite a lot. I'm sure those of you who are not from the North have a clearer picture of what's taking place in the South, and those of you who are from the South, you had a lot to chew on and some food for thought to make you reflect and ask yourself some questions, and of course to change direction for the benefit of your communities in the South, because you have not benefited from the investment that you have made in the St. Lucia Labour Party. It is about time to change course so you can get it better for your people down there and for your children. Yeah, are we having any luck? Okay. So but while we wait for that call to be processed, I just want to say one thing. Let me talk some politics with you now. Mm-hmm. In light of the fact that Dr. Anthony has vacated the scene, we can call it a new era now. What is your assessment of the current situation on the ground in Vieux Fort in light of that new development?
As I said, the Labour Party has their own candidate selection process. So I respect the candidate selection process, but I have to be, as a Vieux Fortian, because Dr. Anthony is Labour Party, he represents me also. Right. So I think I have a stake in what's right. happening for Vieux Fort South. Yeah. Leo Clark at Kimotry, he made it clear that anyone who wants to replace Dr. Anthony must have his support. You understand? And Dr. Anthony basically from day one wanted to be the one to select his replacement. Yeah. I find that to be highly undemocratic. You understand? Very undemocratic. You cannot impose. Vieux Fort does not belong to you. You cannot impose and should never impose any candidate on the people of Vieux Fort South. Right. You have a record where, in my own estimation, it is below par in terms of your contribution to the people of Vieux Fort on your legacy. You cannot impose someone on Vieux Fort, on the people of Vieux Fort.
And that in itself disqualifies him to do that. Yes. Because most likely he'll bring someone of his likeness.
And that's basically, in my opinion, what has happened. Yeah. Now, having said so, I believe right now the people of Vieux Fort have seen through the gimmicks and the political treachery. And I believe right now on the ground, Vieux Fort South is ready to make a decision that is beneficial to the people of Vieux Fort South. And I do not believe the decision will be to the St. Lucia Labour Party. Right. Our candidate in Vieux Fort South, Leanna Johannes Paul, I know she's making a concerted effort, you understand, to mobilize the ground, and with assistance from some of our key persons in the campaign to do certain things in Vieux Fort. But again, I believe right now it is time. Yeah. It is time for change. And the Labour Party had that slogan before, time for change, and the other one, enough is enough. Right. So right now, enough is enough, and it's time for change.
Okay, but I know you are essentially from Vieux Fort South, but I know you are also connected to the other constituencies nearby. You know them very intimately.
I know Roosevelt.
So I am, okay, all right. But I am going to pick your brain on Vieux Fort North now. I mean, Honorable Jean-Baptiste has been there for what, about 20 years now?
He has not been there. On record, he's there. On paper.
Okay, he has been the rep for about that long. And again, I'm sure there's not much to show for his representation. And we have this new exciting candidate, Khalid Xavier Kakal. What do you see so far? I know it's early days yet, but what is your assessment?
This man has energy that I don't know where he got it from. He has a lot of energy physically in terms of his emotions, his ideas. He wants to get things done, you understand? Yeah. But going back to Musa, when you're in office and you're in central government, your intention is to implement policies to transform your country, transform the economy so that people will benefit from the economy. When you transform your economy, there are social implications, positive implications. The standard of living goes up, you understand? The illiteracy rate goes down. Those are the kind of indicators that you look for. It's not about roads, because you can have all the skyscrapers, all the roads in the world. If your illiteracy rate is high, you have not made any progress. You can have all the roads and footpaths and concrete structures. If your cost of living is high, if your quality of healthcare is low, you have not made any progress. So when you have the likes of Honorable Alva Baptiste or Honorable Musa talking about being there and getting the votes, but you have to come back and tell me, how have your impact in politics actually impacted on bringing those indicators down in terms of illiteracy, in terms of unemployment? You have not done it. When you look at Beaufort North, I mean, you come and boast about a road, yes, but roads are operational matters within government. That's all the permanent secretary to ensure that it is done. That's not your job. Try to see what you can do so that you can reduce the import bill. Those are the things you have to look after. Try to see what you can do so that you can get more specialized doctors, give more scholarships. You know, those are the things that you do to transform. And there is nothing that Musa or Alva can say, okay, this is what I have actually done. You understand? You get fertilizer from, what's it, Venezuela? I mean, the fertilizer goes into, and that's it. But in terms of the crop yield and in terms of productivity, how much in terms of output and production, there is nothing to measure that by, and they have failed.
But you talk about roads from Mr. Baptiste. Well, I'll cut here to take this call, and then we'll continue the discussion. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Like It Is.
Good evening.
Yes. Would you like to identify yourself, sir?
Sean Obertin.
Sean Obertin of
Babono Constituency.
Constituency. I imagine you heard my SLP segment where I spoke of one of the candidates vying in the Babono constituency. Well, my earpiece is a lot of noise on the line there. So, Mr. Obertin, are you hearing me clearly? Are you hearing me clearly?
Pardon?
Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm not hearing you clearly.
Yes. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of noise, but what I want to ask you is, you heard what I said about the SLP, newly launched SLP candidate. What is your take? Because I mentioned that he was a member of the UWP, and that would have been at the Babono branch of the United Workers' Party. You are a member, an executive member of that branch. Can you comment on the things that I said?
Yes, Mr. John Esteban was a member of the constituency branch, a financial member of that constituency branch from about 2018, and also he stood on our fundraiser committee. He was a member of the fundraiser committee, which was manned by Mr. Francis Dembo, and some activities we had going on, especially the live before the last we had in Babono. He was part of the committee that stood in selling drinks and to raise funds for our community, for our constituency branch. So indeed, he was a member of the constituency branch, and he had been a member of the constituency branch.
So up to when was his membership still valid?
Pardon?
Up to when was his membership still valid?
Up to April.
Up to April this year, and he has since.
April this year.
Okay. And do you have any idea why he has chosen to change his allegiance and go from vying to be a candidate for the UWP to vying to be a candidate for the SLP?
All right, so Mr. John Estefan had vyed to be a candidate when we opened candidate selection in August 2023. He sent a letter of intent, which was further sent to the headquarters of the party. And from then, he had to go through the process where he had to bring in several different things for them to go through and then send the documents back to the constituency branch. He wrote to us, the committee that dealt with the selection. He wrote to us asking us for more time because the deadline by which we had set, he would not have been able to comply because he was traveling on some business arrangements, and he asked for an extension of 7 days. I sat on that committee and I said to my committee members, if the man has said he's traveling, we cannot look at 7 days. He goes overseas and for some reason he cannot come back to the island. So let's look at 14 days. So we extended it to him for 14 days, and all these things are in black and white. So we extended it to him for 14 days. And he came back and he did not continue his process because he, for some reason, unknown to us, he did not continue his process. And this year of April, he sent a letter saying that he no longer wants to be a member of the United Workers' Party. And all of a sudden, I see him emerging as a candidate for the SLP government. And so I found that strange when he decided not to even take our calls or even to have a conversation with us. And Spider, I want to tell you, I want to say this, and I want St. Lucians to understand. And I'll say it in Creole because my partner Dominic has started a trend in Creole, and I want to continue. Moun ka ba conseil pour gen boy plein. Moi hope he wedo swe boy plein sa. Because I am telling you, he has been influenced by persons within our party that know that for some reason feels that he stands a chance, and they have tagged along with him and they are pushing him because of the hatred for persons within the United Workers' Party. Now, I will tell you, Spider, I will tell you that when we go through what is going on in Barbuno, we can see is mere greed that's going on in Barbuno presently, because this young man has only performed on the ticket of the United Workers' Party in sports in Barbuno. That's the only one big contribution that he has made, and it was only because he was part of the United Workers' Party during the tenure of Ezekiel Joseph under the leadership of Alan Chastney. He came in and he sat on committees where we made sports happen in Barbuno, and we had the cricket tournaments going on and different tournaments going on in Barbuno. But every time the SLP government were to come into office, the spell of sports would die in Barbuno. They would have no sporting activities going on. He was a Labour. He should have helped the Labour Party continue the trend of sports. When Ezekiel Joseph lost elections, sports died. Ezekiel came back, sports happened. As soon as Ezekiel lost again, sports died. So are you saying that you're so much of a Labour, you can strengthen or you can assist Knabo when they're in office for sports to boom in Barbuno, and you as a Labour supporter cannot even help your own party make sports boom in Barbuno? I can tell you, Spider, that as we speak today, most of the great players of Barbuno playing with other teams outside of Barbuno because we have no team in Barbuno to represent Barbuno. None whatsoever. We have a Barbuno football team that goes out and play. They have in transportation bills, they have $7,000 in transportation bill that when they bring it to the minister says, I do not have the money. So these guys have to go out and raise funds and do whatever they have to do. Those bills, and we have a guy who is so influential in sports and he cannot assist them to get those monies. Okay. That's real bad. That's what's going on in Barbuda.
Yeah, well,
and I can go on and on and on.
All right, yeah, but I want to get a few callers, and so we will have to leave it there. But I want to thank you for calling in to just weigh in on the matter, to enlighten our viewers and listeners a little more as to exactly what is going on, and to expose those individuals who present themselves, the imposters, who are opportunists, and who come to the fore only for self-interest. Yeah. So
before I go, let me just say this last thing.
Go ahead.
So the past representative went down to Gara and she was asked, why are you not doing the road projects and the cleaning ups and the things that you used to do? You know what she said to them? You cannot blame me. It is the Honorable Prime Minister, who is a Minister of Finance, that does not want to let go the money for me to do these projects. And she is one of the senior persons within the Labour government. So you think John Estefan will cause him to release money for things to happen in Barbuno? Barbunians, let's think about it and let's understand what is happening to us. Let us make sure that we do not vote for the SLP government in Barbuno and anywhere in St. Lucia to ensure that we see the backs of Labour. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish your candidate Titus all the best, because as we know, throughout the length of breadth of St. Lucia, yellow is the code. And so we have a caller, so I will bring in that caller, and then in between, if we don't have a call, then we can continue the discussion. We don't have much time left, but I will take that first call. Good evening, caller. Like I said, courtesy to my guests. So go ahead if you have a question or a comment. Go ahead and make a contribution. Welcome to Like It Is.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Good evening, caller.
gentlemen.
Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening, caller.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm calling to make a contribution.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'm so disappointed with Mr. Harrow. Mr. Harrow wants us to believe that before Kenyans and before that no representative. There was GOD.
He said
He
before.
used to make laws.
Okay,
and
caller,
oppose
can I
laws.
stop? Can I stop you? Do not misrepresent what my guest says. He didn't say anything like that. Okay, he never said anything like that. That before, and he wouldn't. I wouldn't allow him to make a statement like that when I know better that there was no representative before Kenyan. He did not say so. So check your facts, and you can call back later. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have another caller? Okay. So we were talking about Vieux Fort, which is the south, rather, not just Vieux Fort, but the south. Yes, we have a caller online. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Like It Is. Go ahead and make your contribution. Tell us like it is.
Yes, good evening, Spider. Good evening, Mr. Harrow.
Yeah, good evening.
Hey, good evening.
Yes, I want to touch on a little thing there, Mr. Harrow, about this, what Vieux Fort has been labeled, escalated crime zone.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mean Dr. Anthony is exiting office, and Dr. Anthony, in all good conscience, cannot have the Prime Minister go back to Parliament and remove that stigma on Vieux Fort? And then you have an incoming gentleman, Butcher. You cannot tell your Prime Minister, I cannot represent you if you do not remove that stigma on Vieux Fort? This is absurd.
Well,
and Vieux Fortians
as an outsider, sir,
that.
as an outsider, sir, you all will have to make the decision, put the right person that will help you all by removing.
I know, we know that, Spider, but I'm saying this is total disrespect to the people of Vieux Fort.
Yeah.
You understand? And Mr. Harrow said it well. We have had lack of representation for the past 28 years under Kenny Anthony. 14 as Prime Minister. Come on, man. Vieux Fort should be the gem of the Caribbean,
Okay.
But this will change with a UWP government, and I know Alan Span, I know Lady Lee is ready for the challenge and is ready to work for the people of Vieux Fort. So Vieux Fortians, the day of elections, go to the polls and return the United Workers' Party back into governance. Thank you.
All right, thank you, caller. Thanks for your contribution. We have another caller online. Good evening to you. Welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Tell us like it is.
Great, wonderful Spider-Man too. My brother, every time I watch your program, I say, but I'm watching my next Prime Minister. Because this is the man that John told me, if he had to choose someone to lead his party, it would have been Guy Mayers or the Honorable Spider-Man Tooth. And I knew Guy Mayers was not the brilliant, the political savvy that you have.
Okay, do you have a question for my guest, or do you have a comment on the subject we're discussing, sir?
So let me just say this, that I'm really impressed with the Honorable Mr. Harrow, Wayne Harrow. I'm impressed by him. Very knowledgeable guy, very talented guy. And as you know, Spider, I have been forming my own little movement, the People's Progressive Movement. And if tomorrow, Spider, by chance, God gave me the blessing to be Prime Minister, Spider, you will be my Minister of Public Services, Minister of the Public Services, and Wayne will be my Minister of Justice. As a promise.
Okay,
if tomorrow the Golden Dragon is Prime Minister St. Lucia, Mr. Spider-Man is my Minister of Public Services, and Wayne Harrow, Minister of Justice. Hey, thank you.
All right. I believe one day the male power train my yard will be.
You know the caller?
I know the caller.
Okay.
That's Ben. Okay. Yeah. So, back to the south. Yes, okay. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Like It Is. Please go ahead and make your contribution. Tell us like it is.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Good evening, caller.
Spider, I want to say thank you to you for the great job that you are doing as PRO for the party and the different programs that you lead. I really want to say thank you for that, for an invaluable service to the party. So thank you so much. And this gentleman you have there with you, I joined the program kind of late. So I heard part of what he said, and I don't think I am smart enough to contribute too much to what he just said. But when we spoke about the notion that the Labour Party labeled the hospital in Beaufort as a box, these same people who can afford to go to Martinique, they still go to Lamina to see the doctor in a box. So can they go to Lamina to see the doctor in a box in another country, but we cannot have a box in St. Lucia?
Yeah.
You see the hypocrisy?
That's right.
You know, you see the disconnect. And a lot of the prominent or other professionals that we have in St. Lucia, they want to play dedicated. They want to be dedicated to the Labour Party ideology, because I was speaking to a medical doctor who is a friend of mine who lives in Miami, and she told me St. Lucia cannot afford a hospital like this. Okay? But when her mother was lying down in the corridors in St. Jude's for how many days, cannot see a doctor, she took the next flight to St. Lucia to go pick her up, to bring her to see a doctor in a big hospital in Miami. So St. Lucians are not privy, or they are not capable of seeing the doctor in a big hospital in St. Lucia. It's the loyalty that a lot of professionals in St. Lucia play to the Labour Party. And Spider, I am from the South. Many years ago, I remember when the South was booming, when the Beaufort Industrial Zone was a big thing, employing hundreds of people. They had so many different factories. And thanks to Kenny Anthony the Great, who destroyed every factory in Beaufort, he destroyed the banana industry. Kenny Anthony has destroyed as much as he possibly could. And then, today, St. Lucians are paying for it dearly. But he done told them what he was fixing to do. He told them he came to divide and conquer. And divide and conquer he did. Spider, I gotta go.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller, for your contribution. But before we take the next caller, you were talking about roads and so on. I was saying that across the island, that's what they seem to be focusing on. I can't see me talking about the roads we built. But the advice I have for them is an advice that was given to me many years ago by Sir James Mitchell, the former Prime Minister of St. Vincent. He said to me, Spider, that is a matter of cost to fix the roads. You're not going to win an election for fixing the roads. You may lose if you don't fix it, but you're not going to win for fixing it. So I want them to know that, and I have actually witnessed that firsthand as well, because in the last term of my tenure, I was able to do more than 70 roads in the constituency of Bruce Lee. So bear that in mind. Do we have a caller online? No, we do not have a caller yet. So you were talking about the loyalty to Labour and the returns that the people of the South have gotten. But we don't have much time left. But if we can just, maybe we'll forget about the calls for now. So I just want you to wrap up. If there are any other matters you want to dwell on or expound on and so on about the South, I think you have touched on all of the main issues. But
Spider, there is part of the 7 to save our St. Lucia.
That's right.
There is this $75,000 insurance that is part of that whole plan.
That's right.
I just want to promote that a bit. Because, Spider, I mean, even in my office, you see people come in with the raffle sheets and donation sheets. People who suffer from COPD and different cancers, etc., and kidney issues, just name it. Terminal or very serious illnesses. And they do not have the funds to see a specialist. They do not have the funds to actually buy the medication.
Right.
So you find that a $75,000 insurance will in itself be a significant start.
That's correct.
For the vast majority of St. Lucians. Because we know with cancer, as an example, the cost of whether it's radiation or chemotherapy, going and see a specialist, it is exorbitant.
Yeah.
And so I believe that in itself is a tremendous start. While the physical structure is important, but what actually you get from the physical structure is, to me, even more vital. But before just closing, just let me say that we have 3 candidates in terms of Laura Jean-Pierre in Labrie, Auger, Lady Lee in Vieux Fort South, and Kakal Zavi in Vieux Fort North. I've spoken to them, I've oriented myself around the philosophy of development, and I see some future, especially with Alan Chastanet as the political leader and the Prime Minister. I think Alan Chastanet's first term as Prime Minister pumped so much into the South, so much into Vieux Fort.
Right. And
I wish to see that era return. And so I'm asking politely, that people just weigh the facts, compare and contrast, and I'm certain they will err in the direction of the United Workers' Party.
All right, I do concur, because we know of the great plans that the United Workers' Party under Alan Chastanet has for the South, and so we invite you, the people, to take advantage of this by ensuring that this time around you change things up and support the United Workers' Party, vote for the progress and development of your area. I want to, before I end, inform my viewers and listeners that next Monday we will be celebrating our first anniversary on the air with Like It Is, and we will have a very special anniversary episode next Monday. So I ask you to tune in and be prepared, those of you who want to contribute in the celebration of this first anniversary. Congratulatory messages if you have, or suggestions to make the program even better and what have you. But we will be having a special program on that occasion. I want to thank all of you who, but first let me be more polite than this. I leave the best for last. I want to thank all of you who tuned in tonight, whether by television, whether by radio, Facebook, YouTube, or by the Hot FM app. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. I want to again thank all my special people in the diaspora who religiously tune in and continue to show your patriotism and your keen interest in your homeland, St. Lucia. I want to thank all the few people who were able to call in and make a contribution. And I want to thank all of you who just was with us, who make the show what it is on Like It Is. I want to wish you all a very good night. But before I do, I want to thank my special guest, Mr. Wayne Harrow. I'm sure we learned a lot about the South and in general about the policies of the United Workers' Party. I want to thank you, and I want to wish all your candidates in the South, that is Lady Lee, Kakal Xavier, and Laura, the very best in the upcoming general election, and let's hope history is made in the South and we see something new that will redound to the benefit of the people in the South. Thanks for coming to Like It Is, and we look forward to seeing you in the future during our second year of airing, of broadcasting. And so again, I want to ask you who are listening to tune in tomorrow for the weekly press briefing by the United Workers' Party from 10 o'clock in the morning. I want to ask you to tune in on Thursday from 9 o'clock on Rev Up for Meet the Opposition. And let me just inform you, those of you who are fans of the Flabo Live every Sunday, next Sunday, and I don't just think it's because Mr. Harrow was here that it twisted my arm to make me say that. But on Sunday, we are in the South. We are going to Grace Vieux Fort for Flabo Live. So please join us for all of those programs, because as you know, it is from the United Workers' Party. You are enlightened with the truth, and we always bring to you the issues that are of interest and concern to the people of St. Lucia, as we present to you what will be in your best interest and benefit, the plans, policies, of the United Workers' Party, the party for your future, the party for progress and development here in St. Lucia. I want to thank all of you once again. Join us next week, and in the meantime, have a very good night. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, well.
The people feel so insecure. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love how them a live, love how them a live. We gotta make it our business. Our brothers and our sisters, they are being killed. We gotta tell it like it is, tell it like it is. We don't love how them a live, love how them a live. We gotta make it our business.
The opinions expressed on this TV program by the hosts, guests, and callers are solely their opinions and responsibility. They do not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Hot 7 TV or its affiliates.
Hot 7 TV is the rising star of television in St. Lucia. With